Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. This is May 19th already. This is algebra. Here's what I'm going to do today. I already told you we're prepping for a test. Test will be given to you on Thursday with the intention of you having it to me by Friday midnight. So we got time. Today I'm going to put up 3 prompts on the board. The challenge is for you to simply use the methods we've been going over to graph the quadratic equation. Also tell me whether the vertex is a maximum or a minimum. Also tell me whether the parabola opens up or opens down. These are the 3 prompts. Prompt number 1, y equals 1/2 parenthesis x minus 5 squared minus 3. Prompt number 2, y equals 2 parentheses x plus 1 x minus 3. Prompt number 3, y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 3. Unlike most other days when I have given you assignments, this is not to be done as homework and submitted to me. Here's what I'd like you to do. If possible, pause the video after I finish this instruction and do them now, because afterwards I'm going to now answer them all for you. It's not a homework assignment. It's a can you do this assignment. And if you're really stuck, this is the last opportunity for you to see how I want you to solve them. Does that make sense? So these are the questions. If you could pause the video now and solve them, and then watch the rest of the video where I'm going to explain how to answer them. So pause now. Hey, welcome back. So I'm going to answer these for you one at a time. So here's prompt number 1. Hopefully you could see what form it's in. We call that vertex form. Vertex form actually shows you what the vertex is. So it's telling you what the vertex is. In this problem, the vertex is positive 5, negative 3. Remember that when it's inside parentheses, it's always the opposite sign of what you think it should be. Okay, well, when we had vertex form, the next step, once we found the vertex, was to make a t-table. So here's my t-table, where I put the vertex in the middle. And I go 2 below it and 2 above it for my inputs, my x values. Now I have to plug each one in, just twice, the first 2 of them, and expect that it will reflect on the other side. Plug in a 3. Okay, so y equals 1/2 parentheses 3 minus 5 squared minus 3. Please remember the order of operations. Parentheses first. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. Squared minus 3. Order of operations says the exponent comes next. So negative 2 squared is 4. Order of operations says multiplication comes next. That's 2 minus 3. And 2 minus 3 is negative 1. So that's a negative 1, and that's a negative 1, because it will reflect on the other side. And do the same thing for the input of 4. Okay, fine. So I'm going to say 1/2 of 4 minus 5 squared minus 3. 1/2 of negative 1 squared minus 3. 1/2 of 1 minus 3. 1/2 minus 3. Negative 2.5. That's what I get. So I'm going to pop that in for inputs of both 4 and 6, because I know it will reflect. Yes, it's a decimal. Who cares? It's not that hard to graph a decimal. You can do it, and you can use Desmos to verify what we just did and what the graph should look like. Please understand, you have to show me the math to get the credit for this test. All right, it's not just a calculator test. It's not just a Desmos test. Those are tools to verify your answers. Show me the work for the 2 inputs. If you show me the work for all 4 inputs, you'll get extra credit for each and every one you do. Got it? Now, I'm erasing that because I want to graph it for you. I need positive x's. I need some negative y's. All right, so here we go. All right, I'm worried about this. So x goes from 3 to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Y goes down to negative, well, not very far. Okay, 3, -1 is right there. 4, -2.5 is around about over there. 5, -3 is just a little bit lower. 6, -2.5 is right about there. And 7, -1 is right about there. And I'm going to just sketch my parabola through it. I also told you I wanted you to tell me whether the vertex was a minimum or a maximum. So we'll say it's a minimum because it's at the bottom of the parabola. I also wanted you to tell me if it opens up or down. It opens up. Every time you have a vertex that's a minimum, it's opening up. Every time you have a vertex that's a maximum, it's opening down. Don't mix those two up. It's going to be on the test, and this is a video you can watch while you do the test. So I'm making it really easy for you, I think. That's number 1. Now, I gave you only one question in vertex form, and then I moved on, as we did with our instruction, to intercept form. So, prompt number 2, y equals 2 parentheses x plus 1, x minus 3. How do we solve a problem that's in intercept form? Well, I said first thing I want you to do is identify the p and the q, which happen to be the x-intercepts. P is the number -1. Q is the number 3. All right, again, they should say minus inside, so that does say minus, so 3 is the intercept. That says plus, which makes it a negative intercept. Now, to find the vertex, what do we have to do? Well, the vertex x value is p plus q divided by 2. That's -1 plus 3 divided by 2, which is 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So the x value of this vertex is the number 1. Then we plug it into the equation to solve for the y value of the vertex. So y equals 2 parentheses 1 plus 1, 1 minus 3. Well, that's 2 times 2 times -2. And that's -8. All right, so my vertex is at 1, -8. I also have p and q. P is -1. Q is 3. For graphing, that's all I need. I do not want to make a t-table for intercept form. You don't need it. It's extra work and unnecessary. I'm going to graph my parabola right here. I need pretty far negative y. So -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could put some dashes up here if you want to. You don't need them. We do need some x's that are positive and negative. My vertex is at 1, -8, which is simply down here. My p and the q, those are the x-intercepts, are at -1, so here's one of them, and +3, here's the other one. It's not the coordinate -1, 3. It's -1 is the first x-intercept, and 3 is the other x-intercept. And I make my parabola pretty narrow. I asked you if it's a max or a min. It's a minimum. I asked you if that method opens up or down. It opens up. All right, we are 2/3 of the way done with our test prep. And so far, I think it's been pretty basic, pretty easy. The last kind of problem was the standard form problem. But I didn't give you a very difficult one. Number 3 was y equals -x² plus 4x minus 3. All right, we're almost done. I said what I want you to do is identify the a, the b, and the c. The a value is -1. It's the coefficient of x². It just said -x², so it's -1. The b value is the coefficient of the x term, +4. the C is -3. Okay, great. So we have A, B, and C. How do I graph this? I need to find the vertex, as I've been doing each and every time. How do we find the vertex when it's in standard form? Well, we use this little equation where x equals -b over 2a. Okay, plug in what we know. -b is -4. 2a is 2 times -1. Well, that's -4 over -2, which is 2. So the x value of our vertex is the number 2. Plug it in to see what the y value of the vertex will be. Y equals negative parentheses 2 squared plus 4 parentheses 2 minus 3. That's negative parentheses 4 plus 8 minus 3. That's -4 plus 8 minus 3. -4 plus 8 is 4, minus 3 is 1. So the vertex I've come up with is the coordinate 2, 1. Yes, I know, standard form is more work than the other two. It is what it is. So now I have to make a t-table, even more work. X, Y, t-table, where the vertex of 2, 1 goes in the middle. We go down 2 from 2, so we got 1 and 0. We go up 2, so we got 3 and 4. And we have to plug them in one at a time to see what you get. Again, just do it twice because the other side will reflect. Just make sure that when you do the first two, you do them correctly or everything looks very strange. Okay, so here we go. Plugging in a 0. Well, I like plugging in 0. 0 is easy to plug in. -0 squared plus 4 times 0 minus 3. I said before, when you plug in a 0, all you're going to be left with is the C value, -3, which also goes down here because it will reflect symmetrically around the vertex. Now I'm plugging in a 1. Y equals negative parenthesis 1 squared plus 4 times 1 minus 3. Well, 1 squared is still 1. 4 times 1 is 4 minus 3. That's -1 plus 4, not 3, plus 4 minus 3. -1 plus 4 is 3, minus 3 is 0. So these two values are zeros. Really wasn't all that hard or time consuming. You just have to show your work. And you do have to show your work for the two inputs. The other two will reflect, and that's fine. If you do the other two, again, extra credit for each one. So to graph it, what do I need? I need positive x, I need little positive, so -y. That's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up 1, down to -3 at least. 0, -3 is the first coordinate to plot. 1, 0 is right there. 2, 1 is right here. 3, 0 is right there. 4, -3 is down here. So this time it's going to look upside down. Because the a value was a negative number, it turns the parabola upside down. Identifying the vertex this time as a maximum, which means that the parabola opens down. On the 3 prompts, 2 of them required a t-table. So technically, because you have extra credit opportunities on 2 of the prompts, you could basically get 4 extra credit bumps, plus whatever other extra credit I throw at you on this test. So the test will itself have probably a 110-point value. Plenty of value to bring up any lagging grade. There's no reason to fail this. There's no reason to struggle with this. I just showed you how to do all the problems, and the test will have very similar prompts. Take your time with them, verify them using Desmos to see if it looks correct. If your graph faces up, but it's supposed to face down, it's wrong, fix it. Desmos will help verify that. I point you to Desmos because most of you don't have a graphing calculator at home. It's a really good, easy to use site, so go use it, or whatever else you have that can graph for you. That's to verify. I need to see your work on paper and you plotting the points and you connecting the points. Arrowheads on the ends of a parabola are important because the parabola does not end. It keeps on going forever in that direction. That's all there is to it. All right? Make a good, complete note sheet for yourself. Obviously, you're allowed to use notes and the videos on these tests and quizzes. There's no reason for anyone to be struggling. Also, you can certainly email me if you have any particular question, and I'll be happy to help. I'm not looking for anyone to fail. I'm looking for us to finish this strongly. All right? We're not done. There's another unit to cover. We have plenty of time. We're doing great. So put in the effort, get it done. Make a good note sheet tonight. Tomorrow we'll do a little more practice, and then Thursday I'll deliver your test. Have a wonderful day.